live. Hi, everybody, or whoever's here. I'm new at this live on Zoom and then on YouTube, and I don't know how you see who people are chatting. So I think I have to look at YouTube too in case there's people here. So I'm just going to mute. Okay, I think that's how you do it. You mute on the YouTube channel, and then my audio is through the Zoom. Okay. All right. Hi, everybody. I am Madeline Parker. I'm an astrologer. We're going to take a look at the current transits today and what is ahead for the week, or what is sort of the most dominant kind of transit that's playing out, that's building during the week. And what we're looking at here is a couple of things. In this week, we're going to have in one week, we're going to have Venus shift into Libra. And in this today we have everything. We have the sun today just moved into Virgo. And we have a trine between Mercury retrograde and Chiron retrograde. And then both of those are making a sextile to Mars. So there's this we have a Venus squaring Mars. So before it's about to move into Libra, which is a very positive sign for Venus. It's in its home sign. And then with this current, so let's talk about this Venus squaring Jupiter, or squaring Mars and Jupiter, which is about, so Venus in Virgo is about things being perfect, things being beautiful, things, shall we say, it can be a nervous energy. It's a debilitated energy for Venus. So it's a nervous, uncertain energy, and it's squaring Mars. So there's some sort of insecurity around taking certain actions or taking money actions or taking risks, as Mars is giving us confidence, courage. And if it squares Venus, there's some hesitancy or fear around moving forward in some kind of a Venetian element, which would be money and romance, all things Venetian, pleasure. So there's like and Mars squaring that is sort of like a barrier. And then it looks like Mars is, or Saturn and Jupiter are still squaring too, right there. So there's some blockages to money right now, and people knowing what actions to take or risk taking around money. So there's feeling a little scarce and held back. And because the Saturn thing is causing a lot of changes and restructuring, that's causing us to have to sort of reevaluate our work and our career, because we have to make some shifts to make it more abundant. So it's perhaps we're looking at shifts that we need to make in order to make things more abundant. And then Mars squaring Venus, it's sort of like actions we need to take that are possibly not for our, they're not immediate pleasure. It's things we don't maybe want to do with a Saturn square Venus. It's like, with a Mars square Venus, it's actions we have to do that are not necessarily pleasing us. But with Saturn squaring Mars too, or Jupiter, we have to take actions and do things that are more for the long haul, long-term gratification, not short-term gratification in these energies, because we're making adjustments that are going to really last the long haul. I'm noticing with a lot of people that jobs, companies seem to be sort of old structures, and maybe old companies that used to be very strong are sort of starting to sort of not be as strong and kind of not as abundant, or kind of coming down. So we're really getting some old established ways that have been the usual way in the past, like for instance, McDonald's for one, which has been a very staple thing. I'm seeing in articles that it's starting to lose. And so there's like the shift going on in a lot of these established areas of making money that were very institutions or businesses that have been very stable, making money for a long time, are no longer really finding that they are part of the abundant new future and they're losing their society's financial support. So we're seeing quite a few things lose their prominence in the marketplace from that have been more prominent in the past, because we're seeing shifts to more independent humanitarian businesses that are really and just I could say businesses or occupations or endeavors that are more humanitarian and pulling the earth back into balance and putting living more balanced and healthy back into forefront. So we're seeing a lot of shifts with that, with the Saturn and the Saturn square to Jupiter and the Mars square to Venus. So it's like they're both happening at the same time. And there's some long-term shift we have to make so that, and some actions we have to do so that we can stabilize a long-term income relationship and restructuring our independent calling, our path. With that Saturn to the square, we're having to restructure a static way of operating in some area. We have to sort of bust out and go contrary action very much in these energies. And with Venus in Virgo, we're doing things that aren't necessarily comfortable. Again, same theme with the Saturn square Mars. We're doing things we don't really want to do. So now with the Mercury trining Chiron in the backdrop, we are really in a very healed place, because that Mercury in retrograde, Chiron retrograde, are sextiling Mars. So that's really creating a very, shall we say, sorry, I'm checking to see if there's any talkers, messengers, people talking there. Now I can't find the Zoom page back. Let's see if I stop the share. Okay. So if I go here, and we look at this, so Mercury retrograde, we're becoming much more connected, since we're going a little bit more introverted and connecting with how we feel. Mercury retrograde, we're discovering, and it's in Leo now, so it's a little bit more passionate, because it was in Virgo and now it's back in Leo. So we're really connecting some sort of deeper inner passions, desires, and shall we say, it's trining Aries, Chiron, again, retrograde. So we're really connect. There's some sort of heat, and Mars there creating that sex, enabling us to take some kind of forward action, even though it's contrary. So it's like we've got some kind of a healing helping us taking this contrary action, empowering us. Chiron Aries is really empowering us to be wounded warriors. And so now we've got this Mercury retrograde in Leo, where we're connecting with our inner feelings, our inner heart, our passion, trining that Chiron in retrograde, saying, no, we're healed enough to take bold moves forward to change and shift our occupation or our endeavors or our dreams to a more abundant path. Because with that Mercury retrograde healing, trining Chiron in retrograde, we're supported emotionally, we're healed, our inner selves are strong enough to do this. So we've really evolved to a place where we're strong enough to step forward and take contrary action that's harder, that's long-term return. What's the word? Long-term satisfaction, delayed satisfaction, and forego short-term satisfaction in order to make some changes and redirect our work, our endeavors, our projects, our callings, our purposes to a more abundant long-term future. And it's usually a sacrifice. It's usually things we don't want to do. It's not. All right. I hope this was helpful for anybody, and I'm glad you were there. I saw a couple of people there, so I will be back again in 2 weeks for another live. I'm going to try and do these every Thursday night. Do like and subscribe, and follow me on Instagram, Madeline Parker, and also next week I will be on YouTube with a live with Amalia, and we will do a Virgo new moon report. All right. See you next week. Namaste.